Hello, I'm Philip Stoten. I'm at Apex 2020 and I'm joined by Michael Ford from Aegis and by Mark Ogden from ASM to talk about agility across factories but also across a global manufacturing ecosystem. We talk a lot about line connectivity and we talk a lot about getting the maximum efficiency out of a line, but for a lot of global manufacturers, it's much, much bigger than that. And one of the things that we're seeing at the moment with the current crisis is the desire to be able to be more agile, move stuff from one geography to another. Is that something you hear from your customers, Michael? And is that something that's challenging people at the moment, having that agility not just in one place, but across an entire ecosystem?
Yeah, it's a key topic at the moment. People really want to be able to meet the needs of the customer, where the customer has different demands. Maybe they want products to be made in different locations or shipped to different locations. The manufacturer who has multiple sites needs to decide not only what line configuration should I use or what capabilities are required, but what are my capabilities across the board. Now, how do they know that? Because in the past, the operation of one site can be understood fairly easily. But where you have a different site that has a different history and a different capability and a different language and everything is different, how do you know that what you expect to happen in one site is going to be mirrored in the other? And to be honest, you don't. Yeah. So we see a lot of attempts at standardization, for example, of machines and processes between these different sites. However, even that doesn't solve the problem because they are still used in different ways. And so you need to find a layer of standardization that will allow products to be moved from one site to another and being able to collect the statistics from the sites such that you understand, okay, how is this product going to be made in this site, on this line? What are my costs? What are my lead times? What are my yields likely to be? And it's all part of an analytic structure then, where you can understand what these effects are going to be. So you need to have the data to be able to do that. You need to have the visibility upon that data for the analytics. But then you need to be able to have the button available to push to be able to move something from one to another with the confidence that everything you need is going to be there.
Yeah. And Mark, ASM are a preferred supplier to a lot of the global EMS companies, have footprints all around the world. How do you help them create agility on a global basis? Obviously, in a perfect world, everybody would have C-place machines in every factory, and that would be very easy for you to do. But when they do have legacy, how do you help them do that?
Well, really, basically, using the same platform across different locations, being able to transfer product very easily. We do it through our programming system. We've always built our systems based on programming the product, not the machine. And if you look at that across the whole factory, you really want to program in the actual product inherent data and not the data that is specific to a particular machine movement, right? So that gives them the agility to move product from one factory to another. We even help them move equipment from one factory to another. You may find that their capacity in one area of the world is not required and it needs to be moved to another, and we can help them with that as well. So that really is the programming and also the reconfiguration ability of the equipment. The next step beyond that is providing factory-wide software and tools that allow them to also automate other processes outside SMT.
Yeah, so you're building up that bigger picture to create additional agility there. And when customers of Aegis are asking you to do that, is it a software solution? Is it partly a hardware solution? And where do you sit in that software stack? Because ERP has part of this, PLM, I guess. There's a whole lot of different software connecting.
ERP and PLM not really involved because, you need to transfer the data over, but they don't know anything about the specific configurations in manufacturing. And, even though SMT probably puts on 90% of the components and the materials, 90% of the actual work, if you like, is done before and after SMT. And it's a matter of getting people very quickly up to speed because as we're changing products very, very often, people don't have time to learn. So the learning curve is the most significant downgrade of productivity. having the right documentation, including augmented reality that we now support, enables us to remove the need for that learning, so that you have operational work instructions which match exactly what the job demands. People are very happy to be able to follow the very clear instructions, and they can produce products with perfect quality right from the first article. So it is this use of information. It's not just the information itself, but it's the use of information in this way that enables this kind of flexibility within the workforce.
Yeah, and is it so, Mark, when you look at it, is it that digital thread? Is it the digitization of the process that creates the agility? For me, to have agility, you need complete transparency, you need complete visibility through the whole process. You maybe need a digital twin so you can do this what-if scenarios. Is that something we're moving towards?
It certainly is, Phil. Having that transparency of everything that's happening in the factory, knowing where all the material is, knowing what I can build, what I can't build, that's very important. Coming back to what Michael mentioned, training and the new way of training is very important. If someone is suddenly going to get equipment that they've never used before, we started doing online learning, virtual reality, 3D training. So a new operator or technician will be able to know what they're doing before they've even seen an ASM machine, before they've even been to an ASM facility. All this can be done locally, online, and they're ready to go as soon as the equipment comes in. That's also very important where you have factories with a lot of employee turnover. Yeah,
and I think it's for me, part of that digital process is cutting out that variability. So, you know, we have one shift that performs better than another shift. We have one team that performs better than another shift. Only with a truly digital manufacturing process can we achieve that.
The issue to be careful of, though, is that we need to maintain interoperability. Because if you look at a typical factory, how many different machine vendors are there? And do they all work together?
Yeah.
Should they even need to work together? I mean, one of the things that I believe we're both proud of is the Connected Factory Exchange, which to a great extent enables that connectivity between different vendors.
Yeah.
But, you know, it also applies to the solution layer as well, where you have, you know, certain areas that do certain things and other areas that do other things. That can really introduce a high degree of variation that really can't be predicted. I mean, you use the best machines in the industry, you know exactly what you're doing. But you're stuck with other machines in the industry. How do they compare? How are you going to judge? So sometimes you need to take a higher level approach to be able to model the machine vendors independently and be able to understand the effect on different configurations from a kind of a neutral standpoint.
Okay, so Michael, I'm a contract manufacturer. I've got facilities in Mexico, China, Europe, North America. I've kind of started my digital transformation journey, or I've got a plan, maybe, but I don't know quite where I'm going. Where do I start? What should my roadmap look like to get me to that utopia of this digital agility?
Ultimately, and this is a scoop for you, the IPC is starting the digital twin definition, where we define a digital twin of the product, a digital twin of the manufacturing line, and another digital twin which is post-manufacturing.
Yeah.
Now, is this a new thing? Yes. Does this exist? Yes, it does, because already there are standards that define how information is going to be shared. So you could literally take a product model, drag and drop it on a desktop into a factory configuration. The software would automatically, interoperably of course, contact each of the machine vendors, ask them how things should be done, and come back with a report of how it should be done. This is not available today. This has been kicked off, although the various standards exist to be able to do this. I would say that, first of all, if a company is starting out now to achieve that end goal, as that's what they want, they need to understand, what do I need as part of my digital twin? Because it's not about the machines, it's not even about the software. It starts with the true cost of the business. What is my cost of agility? Where is my loss of asset utilization? Where is my storage of materials? Where is my storage of subassemblies? How does my customer want delivery of these things? Start from the grassroots of the business need.
Yeah.
Then you understand what I need to model, then you understand the tools I need to model it with, and then you go into the realm of this interoperability between solutions from different vendors.
Yeah.
It's a basic common sense approach, actually.
Yeah, and then you have an ROI calculation, you have a business case to to push up to management for the investment.
Yeah, and you get your return on investment within the year and making it free.
You've got something to measure against. Digital twin isn't new to you guys. You guys have been doing offline programming for forever. You just didn't call it digital twin, and now you can. Is that something you see as something your customers will have, a complete digital twin of the manufacturing ecosystem you're installing for them?
Well, it's important that you know exactly what's going on at all times in your factory, right? So this digital transformation, it really is about making your factory more efficient. At the end of the day, you want to be able to produce more product with the same asset tool park you've got in the factory. That's what this is all about. So isolated efficiencies are not going to help you. Isolated closed-loop processes may help improve a certain thing, but it's not going to improve everything. So the digital twin, where that comes in, it allows you to see and program and replicate everything in the factory. It means that your products will be more portable, factory to factory, but it also means you'll know exactly what is going on at all times in your factory, which drives up efficiency. That's the key thing, is making the factory more efficient.
Yeah. And it's great to see that IPC are getting behind these initiatives and helping us define these things and helping us have methods where not only are we connecting machines and factories and geographies, but we're connecting some of the smartest minds in the industry to solve some of these problems.
And always remember that the standards are standards, and we both follow standards because we want to be interoperable. But you then get to the layer of intelligence, where you have intelligent software from the machine vendors, you have intelligent software from us. That's what actually makes the benefit. That's what brings the profit, if you like.
Yeah.
So, you go into a factory with a typical 10% raw productivity. How hard could it possibly be to increase that to 20%?
Yeah.
How could you get double the value from that manufacturing asset? It cannot be that difficult.
No.
If you had the understanding, as Mark said, of see whatever is going along, it's actually easy to modify best practices, use the digital world, and immediately get that value. And you're already well on the way to achieving what you need digitally.
Yeah, and it all comes from total visibility, and with that total visibility, actionable intelligence, and eventually that delivers the agility that you're looking for. Gentlemen, thanks for stopping by to chat. Really interesting conversation. I'm sure it'll carry on forward, and good luck with the IPC committees that are involved in this. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Yep.